Hi, this is Elisa with Mirror Image Crafts. Welcome back to my Step It Up card series. This is video number 2. If you've seen the first video, you watched me put together this really simple stamps, ink, and paper only masculine card. And today I'm going to show you just how to add just a little bit more to it to step it up. So let's get started. Again, we're going to use a crumb cake card base. It's just our standard card size. So 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And once again, I'm going to sponge the outside of that. I'm going to sponge it a little heavier than I did last time, just to give it a little more interest. Okay, so I've finished sponging the outside of my crumb cake card base. Set that aside. Next I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. I'm going to tear some Always Artichoke cardstock and sponge that as well. This piece is a little bit longer than the piece I used in the first card, so this is a 2" by 5.5. I'm going to sponge the edges of that. Again, I'm sponging a little heavier this time, so it's a little more noticeable than on my first card. My first card just has a little subtle sponging to it, and this one's going to have quite a bit more. Okay, so that piece is done. Next I'm going to take I believe this is a 1.5 by 5.5 strip of Always Artichoke striped paper from the Regal's pattern stack, and I'm also going to tear this. You'll see when I tear this, this paper has a white core. So I'm definitely going to want to sponge that so that it's Always Artichoke, because I'm using vanilla cardstock on this card and the white wouldn't really look very good. So I'm sponging that. Again, sponging quite a bit heavier than I did on my first card. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put these pieces down on my card base. Again, I'm using snail adhesive just to stick these down, starting with my artichoke and just placing that at the very bottom of the card, and then taking my striped designer series paper and layering that right over it. Okay, just a little more added interest to that piece. I'm going to do the same thing with the tree image. I'm going to sponge that in Always Artichoke. Okay, and once again punch it out with my 2.5" circle punch. And sponge the outside of that with my artichoke and my Stampin' Sponge. Okay, and this piece gets popped up on Stampin' Dimensionals. And layered to the front of my card. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment once again in Always Artichoke straight to the crumb cake. And you'll see I've just added a little bit more interest to the card, very simply. Again, I'm just still using stamps, ink, and paper, but I've added some nice designer series paper to this card. So, not too different, but just stepped up a little bit from my very first card. Stay posted for my video number 3 in this series, and I'll see you then. Thanks!